Meanwhile, the federal government has been advised by agricultural experts in Adamawa to invest more in the sector as a way of reducing the unemployment among the youths.
But in Nigeria, we have a variety of crops and we have a variety of ecological regions where a particular crop have advantage over the other. And when the federal government exploit these potentials, youth unemployment will reduce drastically.
Experts insist that agricultural policy initiatives of President Bola Tinubu is a way to ensure food security in the nation.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we shall be discussing the politics of 2027. Please stay with us, everyone.
The Inspector General of Police has met with senior officers to review the state of security.
We are continuing our coverage of the arrest of Godwin Emefiele.
The Senate has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to properly brief the Senate regarding the state of the economy.
What I will never take.
Let's now bring you more development from Ibadan, the your state capital, where an explosion has taken place. Tell us about this incident.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome back, everyone. Since the announcement of a coalition spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, there have been several reactions to this announcement. While some Nigerians say in a democracy, a thriving opposition is fundamental to ensuring checks and balances, the emergence of this coalition is expected to inject new life into Nigeria's political discourse, preventing the current administration from sailing to re-election without viable alternatives. But the former Director General of the Labour Party, Presidential Campaign Council, Akin Osuntokun, has expressed skepticism about the viability of a newly formed opposition coalition aimed at unseating President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 election. Osuntokun says while political alliances were not new in Nigeria, he did not see the coalition successfully challenging President Tinubu. He described the president as an experienced politician with a strong strategic advantage. Let's see an excerpt of what that gathering looked like.
This gathering is an indication of a coalition of opposition political forces. This coalition is aimed at uniting various political factions to present a more formidable challenge to the ruling party.
Coalition of opposition political parties, we have reached out to our members in the National Assembly.
The coalition led by Atiku Abubakar strongly rejects the introduction of a state of emergency in Rivers State. However, while the former vice president was calling on the National Assembly to void President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency, the lawmakers instead ratified it, citing national security, peace and stability.
The issue was the diversion of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The president could have encouraged the National Assembly to intervene under Section 11 of the Constitution. However, even under such an intervention, the governor and deputy governor cannot be removed by any arm of government except through constitutional means.
No legislation or constitutional amendment has changed that, so that is the law. No person or authority can remove an elected official, whether governor, deputy governor, or member of the legislature.
This coalition's strength will depend on several factors, including the ability to maintain unity among diverse political ideologies, including how they effectively communicate their platform to voters and mobilize grassroots support. Some hurdles to cross will be the key reconciliation of differences between parties, managing candidate selection processes will also be tricky and challenging. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
And observers are asking how leaders with different ideologies, ambitions, and party affiliations can work together to fulfill their promise to Nigerians. Let's have this conversation tonight. Joining me this evening as we evaluate the viability of this emerging opposition coalition is Engineer Nuruddin Hamayero, APC chieftain, political affairs analyst. Engineer, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Thank you. Engineer, can you hear me? Good evening to you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening. So, I mean, with so much talk about this coalition spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and other opposition figures. And just to continue from where I stopped in my introduction, these are the words of Mr. Oshutokun, who is a Labour Party chieftain. It says President Tinubu has the power of incumbency and will use it to his advantage if he decides to seek re-election in 2027. He went on to say if he could win an election against all odds when he was not president, you can imagine now when he's in power. So that would lead me to my first question. Is this coalition dead on arrival?
Yeah, somehow dead on arrival because they have a lot to struggle with. Because if you look at the configuration of what bring APC into emergence, that 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari won the election, it wasn't just, a combination of people who want to be in power, but people that have so much values in their own respective regions, because President Buhari consistently maintained his 10 to 12 million votes from 2003 to 2015. Whatever party he exits from and goes to another party, he goes with that kind of votes. And in 2015, in preparation to the emergence of APC, the president today came also with a block vote from his region, which is the Southwest. And this has somehow defined the political equation of this country. Some of us might be in denial, but it will stay for a long time. The equation now is Southwest and Northwest. And if you look at the block votes, is what you can say invariably produced the president in 2015. Now, if you want to look at these individuals, just like Senator Shekarau from Kano State, distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, former governor, said these are individuals who have lost out in previous election and coming together. He don't see them from making any impact that will stop the president from getting his second term. And I believe him 100%, Olajumoke, because if you look at already the biggest pillar among these coalition elements is, we can say, quote and unquote, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And then you can follow him up with, let's say, Peter Obi. And then you can say Rabiu Musa Konkoso and El-Rufai, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. But if Atiku is joining this coalition, is he really going with the PDP organic vote? I don't see that happening. If El-Rufai, who has gone into SDP, is he really going to make any impact in Kaduna State? And if we look at the last election, there was figures that were published by the Tribune papers. 10 states that had the highest registered voters, which were Benue, Bauchi, Plateau, Delta, Oyo, Katsina, Kaduna, Lagos, Kano, and Rivers. Now, if you look at this, none of them had less than 2.5 million votes. Atiku is coming from the Northeast, and it's only Bauchi out of these 10 that came from the Northeast. Yes, you don't rule out the other states, but Bauchi had the highest registered voters in 2023, which is about 3 point something million votes. And again, if you see from the other 9 states we are talking about today, ask yourself this question: how much has the APC consolidated in these 9 states? In Rivers and Delta State, who are the southern states in the 10 states, APC are really doing very well, because the defection of these 27 members House of Assembly in Rivers State is a clear indication that we will do very well in 2027 general election. Now, if you come back and look at the Southwest, among the 10 states, you had Lagos and Oyo from the southwestern states is still intact for Mr. President. If you come back to the Northwest, where you have Kaduna, Kano, and Katsina, yes, Vice President Atiku Abubakar won in Kaduna State, but ask yourself, the people that helped him in winning the election in Kaduna State have just moved to the APC not quite long because of their political, ideology differences with Nasir El-Rufai. When he exited to SDP, they came back to APC and he moved out of APC and joined. And those were the people that worked for the former vice president that helped him, won Kaduna State in 2023. But now they are in the APC, meaning we have consolidated so much in Kaduna State. Kano State is for Rabiu Musa Konkoso. But again, we are doing very well because you could see a lot of movement around NMPP guys from his state coming back to the APC. And the same thing with Katsina State. So I don't see it much of a problem. But again, nobody will want to see his house, leaking, and he will say there's no problem. Ordinarily, there's nobody that would have loved to see these guys move out of the APC. But since they so desire to join other political parties, we are not against them. But certainly, again, we don't see them, creating much problem for Mr. President in coming back for his second term.
And it's also interesting to note that, this idea of an opposition coalition had been explored in 2015, which brought about the victory of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Despite having different ideologies, 4 parties dissolved into one. We had the CPC, ANPP, ACN, and ABGA. These parties dissolved into what became the APC. That's an idea, a strategy that had been explored and worked with. Is it strategic to explore this option again? Is it politically wise, rather, to go that route again?
The issue of, I will call it myself, morality in politics. This is like we are having this as a deficiency in Nigeria, and I don't know if it is because of our years of democracy or because we have not been getting it right. But again, you look at whenever, typically I will tell you is what happened in this River State issue that the president declared state of emergency. Now, if you ask yourself this question, why are these people condemning when they know these things have been practiced all over the world in different countries where for some extraordinary circumstances, the federal government of every country can declare state of emergency to restore order and normalcy, but they keep condemning because they are not in the party. But you take a look at it, and that is why I'm talking about morality in politics and decency. Most of these people that are condemning, and especially those in the coalition, that the so-called coalition that is about to be formed, who were there in 2004, 2006, when President Olusegun Obasanjo declared state of emergency in Plateau State and in Ekiti State. I give you this example. In 2004, when President Olusegun Obasanjo declared state of emergency in Plateau State, Vice President Atiku Abubakar was his vice president. Was he against the government as at that time? No. In 2006, when he declared in Ekiti State, Ahmad Nasir El-Rufai was a minister in his cabinet, minister of the FCT. Did he go against the president? No. If you ask yourself, who was Konkoso at that time? He was Minister of Defense when he lost out of his second term as Governor of Kano State. The president compensated him and made him Minister of Defense. Did he go against the president? No. If you ask yourself about Peter Obi from the Labour Party, what was his position or status in the country when those things were happening at that time? He was a governor. Yes, you can argue for him a little bit, hustling between impeachment and reinstatement, and maybe for that reason you can excuse him. But again, even at that time, was it that wisdom escaped him to look at what was wrong and what was right? Why didn't he talk and went against the president? So now, because they are all running after the villa and want to be president. From nowhere, they are now beginning to condemn a decision that was taken to restore the confidence of Nigerians and to safeguard the life and property of the people in Rivers State, which is primarily the role of governance, and to save our economy. You are right to say we have a problem of decency and morality in our politics.
Absolutely, because I wanted to say, you talking about morality and decency in politics, isn't it ironical to put these three words together when describing Nigerian politicians or talking about Nigerian politics? But former Vice President Atiku says is unsure of his political ambition in 2027, meaning that he's uncertain that he would run for president in 2027, which also means he could change his mind any moment, even at the last minute. And I'm just curious, for someone who had taken a shot at this thrice, and some say 6 times, do you agree with those who say it's high time he stopped running and allow for fresh faces?
100%. Atiku is an elder statesman, highly respected. I come from the same state with him, from the same constituency with him. My local government is just before his local government. I know so much about him, and he's a father. But again, he has given so much and he has done so much asking for this seat, but Nigerians have not deemed it necessary or looked at him as somebody that is, how do I put it, desirous to be in the seat. And if he has done it about 4 to 5 times, and today he is either 78 or 79, meaning before the election will take place in 2027, he will be in his 80s. I think what is good for him is to rest, continue to mentor and shape the political structure of this country and see that governance is done the right way instead of competing with people who he has mentored from 1999, 25 or 26 years today down the line. I don't think it's healthy for him. This is just my own opinion, and I don't think it's my personal opinion. But I think he should consider
ever retire. Engineer Nuruddin.
It's not just in Nigeria, but what I'm telling you is all over the world today. President Trump in America is in his late 70s. Likewise, Biden, it was age factor, that led him started having some health condition, and he was advised, but honorably he pulled out. So if Atiku Abubakar is relatively stable, if you see him today, he is healthy. But again, age doesn't lie. So if he really wants to take care of himself at all age, then I think he should forget about governance. He has given much. He was a vice president for 8 years. He has done his best for the country. Anytime he has people he can recommend to be governors in different states, particularly in his region, because today I will tell you it is his influence in a way that has given the current governor of Adamawa State his 2nd term. That is not in dispute. So if he can stay back and maintain his, statesmanship, I think it's better for him than to continue to raise this political office that will likely impact on his health. I don't think it's a healthy idea for him.
And I also remember that in the build-up to the 2019 election, opposition to the 2nd term bid of President Buhari swayed as the PDP inked a major deal with at least 30 other political parties. The parties signed a memorandum of understanding to operate under a new umbrella called the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP. The coalition agreed to mobilize support for consensus candidates for the center, state, and the legislative arm of government. But looks like that failed. Why did you think it failed at that time? Engineer Nuruddin, did you get that question?
No.
All right. So I remember that in the build-up to the 2019 election, opposition to the 2nd term bid of President Buhari swayed as the PDP inked a major deal with at least 30 other political parties. And at that time, the parties signed a memorandum of understanding to operate under a new umbrella called the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP. I'm sure you remember that. And at that time, the coalition agreed to mobilize support for consensus candidates for the center, state, and legislative arm of government. Why did you think that coalition failed at that time?
I can't really give you a definite reason why it has failed, but most of the times, and that is why our political ideology is still not shaped the way it is supposed to. Because in most cases, when you see people come together, it is difficult to make this consensus and bring up a unified front. And is what is going to affect most of the coalitions. And that is why you see notable people speaking about a failed coalition that has not even started doing very well, but already they are spelled for doom, because it is difficult. Who will leave the position of the presidency for the other? And for the coalition you are talking about, I can't even remember much about it, but I will tell you mostly is because we have different ideology, and most of the times no one wants to step down for the other, even when logically you have a superior argument over the other. To step down becomes a problem. So usually coalitions like that is difficult. Why it worked out for the 2015 for President Muhammadu Buhari is because he has spent over the years notching this ambition, and then it has gone down the minds of a lot of Nigerians, knowing his antecedent, who he was as a military head of state, and then who he is trying to be now. So it was easy to align with him and other parties who came to join together to present him that, look, this will be our leader, and we all follow. So even the time you're talking about, I'm sure, is misalignment of ideas. They don't want to align to each other, and that was why it was difficult. So the same thing will happen. Even we have so many parties now, but if you ask me, can these parties come together? Some of them are only out to make money. There is no ideology. Most of our political structures in Nigeria are not ideologically based, Olajumoke. There is no ideology much in the politics. If you ask some smaller parties, what do you stand to achieve? Most of it, sorry to say, is about money making. That is difficult, and this has already, sent a very bad signal even to the populace. And today, if the people see you talking about politics, they start thinking it is because you also want to go and make money, and that is why you're coming into politics. Yeah. So a coalition like that, even at this moment, cannot hold. Even if there is an attempt to make it, it may not hold. It will be dead on arrival because there is no ideology. And the masses has already given a very bad meaning to politics. Politics with handouts. Politics where you go and be sharing food items, consumables in the name of appeasing voters to prepare their mind to vote you when the time comes. This is how we have degenerated politically, and it's going to be very difficult now for a coalition of any kind, to form a very good ideological base and then be successful. It's going to be I don't see it happening in the near future, except we put some deliberate and aggressive efforts.
And also, one would have imagined that if we already have a coalition of united political parties, why scout for a new one? Why form a new one? But let's take a break at the moment, Engineer Mayero, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, everyone.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solutions.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made, and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salam Adeniyi. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Tonight, we're examining the viability of emerging opposition coalition in Nigeria. And I've been speaking with engineer Nuruddin Hamanyero, is an APC chieftain and also a political affairs analyst. Engineer Hamanyero, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Thank you. About a week ago, I had a conversation with Governor Abdullahi Suli of Nasarawa State, who says to me that unseating a man like Bola Tinubu would be an uphill task for anyone. I've also listened to PDP chieftain Segun Shomi, who says on our channel that if he was not a member of the PDP, he would be in the APC. I mean, vehemently saying he would never, ever join a coalition. On Monday also, Embattled National Secretary of the PDP, Senator Samuel Ayawu, calls the merging coalition a force that cannot stand. Is this so because the idea of coalition is alien to us as a people? And I know you've talked about how money politics has contributed to this.
Yeah, we can continue to ask questions and questions about the credibility of those that are forming the coalition. And that was why I told you from the beginning, who are these people individually if you look at them? And why are they forming this coalition? And if you remember at the time where we discussed this government is going to be 2 years in May. Has the disgruntled members, people like Nasir El-Rufai, who has moved to the SDP, have they even given enough time to see that things have not worked out? Effectively, there is still about 1 year to first quarter of next year, which exhausts the effective period of governance in the 4 years. Have you given that time, allow it get exhausted before you make this kind of decision? So if you are making this kind of decision at this stage, who are you making it for? Is it for yourself or for the people of Nigeria or for your good followers? Who are you making it for? So, and the same thing goes with every other person that is forming the coalition. They don't have the moral standard politically to convince people that this is for us and you should come with us and we'll be successful. So if you look at the president, he hasn't said...
You've taken a shot at this. Maybe we should take a look at the quality of persons at that coalition. I mean, these are prominent politicians with or without political value, but quite influential with their different ambitions. We have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who has also been described as a serial candidate, still wants to become president. El-Rufai wants to become president, though his constituents say he does not have what it takes to lead the country. Peter Obi was represented by Yunus Atanko, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawa. We have Segun Shomi. I mean, these are individuals who have had a shot at leadership in this country, whether at the federal or state level.
Let's look at it one after the other. You just mentioned Vice President Atiku Abubakar. How many times has he tried for this presidential office? Since 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019, 2023. This is going to be the 6th time, which is 2027. Now, like I said, so many factors around him, have made it a disadvantage. And if he has not, till this moment, convinced Nigerians that he can be a president for them, then I don't think there is any time left for him to do that. And if you bring somebody like Nasir El-Rufai, the next person after Atiku, yes, he might have had his time in the 8 years as governor of Kaduna State, but now that he has gone, even before he left, you heard what Shehu Sani said about him. He has, incapacitated the APC as a party in Kaduna State, because when he was leaving, in 2023, they lost everything, but when he was coming, they had everything. So is he prepared to become president or campaign for somebody to become president? No. If you look at Peter Obi, yes, he had sympathy with the Southeast in 2023, got a block vote from there. But now, I told you earlier, APC has consolidated very well in the southeast. We have Dave Umahi in Ebonyi State. We have Uzodinma in Imo State. And like the likelihood of having Alex Oti join this our race, hopefully, is very high. So meaning 3 over 5, or even let's leave it realistically with what we have on the table, which is 2 over 5, is fair enough. So do you have anybody? And the other people you are talking about, I don't see them with much political value because I don't know how much they have in the ballot box. But for these few people we have mentioned, and Rabiu Musa Konkoso, who was a Kano president, you know, he had his own votes, everything around Kano traditionally, nothing much, 1.something million, and everything is Kano. So I don't see this much opposition, even when you put together, will threaten the second bit of the president. I don't see it threatened. Yes, like I said, everybody will want a smooth ride. But in the event where some of these people that are supposed, you know, to make it easier, decided to leave for some motives that you can't really explain, they might be sinister or otherwise, then you can still ride. It might going to be a little bit difficult, but why not? But eventually success is going to come our way. So like I join other Nigerians to tell you, there is no much threat as at the moment. And if the president continues to give dividends of democracy, continues to ensure that the policies he has put in place have, you know, see to the maturity of these policies, you know, address the sufferings of Nigerians, I think the smooth ride we are talking about might even come and there will be no any problem on the way at all.
And you know, some Nigerians have also said this should be, you know, more than just criticism of the status quo. Nigerians are not looking for political rhetoric. They are seeking practical, implementable solutions. However, should the APC take these people for granted or underrate this emerging coalition? That's my question to you.
Say again?
Should the APC take these people for granted or underrate this emerging coalition?
No, we can't take it for granted, Olajumoke, and that is why we need to double up in our effort to continue to deliver dividend of democracy, because to an extent, I even look at what these guys are doing as a distraction, which ordinarily they shouldn't have done that, because these are effective period of governance, and that was why I told you for them to have left this early means they don't mean well for Nigerians, because the time for governance is still in place, and you shouldn't be seen to be distracting the same government you put in place. But for the other people that have joined the coalition, taking them for granted, not at all. In politics, even if you lose one person, you shouldn't sleep until you can bring that one person back. But however, since they have gone, we will put every measure in place to make sure their movement does not affect us in any way. And that for sure will happen, because the dividend of democracy will continue to play out. And most importantly, which is a message we should be giving out to Nigerians, Olajumoke, is that they should be patient and walk through with the president on this movement he is making, policies he is bringing on board to address this suffering. For example, I really want the president to sustain the Naira crude policy, because it is really reducing the impact for Nigerians, because fuel supply is stable now and the price is crashing. So if that is sustained, certainly it will reduce the suffering. Right. Policies around agriculture, which the president is not resting, if sustained, certainly will bring about enough food production and every Nigerian can put food on the table. And with this, our economy will begin to have some turnaround. And certainly, our president will come back and consolidate on his policies, finish his 8 years, and make Nigeria a better place than he met it. All so right. This is what we hope for Nigeria, and this is...
Engineer Mayori, to put the cards on the table, and this is me taking you back to some weeks ago when El-Rufai announced this defection from the APC to the SDP. As a northerner and a member of the ruling party, does he have what it takes to unsettle this administration?
No, he doesn't. And I keep telling you he doesn't, because at this point now, put him on the table and weigh him. What is the weight?
Him?
I'm not underestimating him. I'm just being realistic with you, because, okay, even when you were giving that kind of weight to Malam Nasir El-Rufai, if you take away the governorship position from Malam Nasir El-Rufai in 2023, if he were an ordinary citizen, would he have made that impact?
Okay. Is that your answer to my question?
I don't think.
Okay.
Now, yes, but again, like I told you, would I have wanted him to leave? No. But now that he has gone, I don't think he will make any impact. Certainly not.
But I've also heard people say El-Rufai leaving the APC is political suicide. Is that so?
Suicide then for him, not for the party. That is just the answer, but not suicide for the party, because if you ask yourself, and I also refer you back, when he was leaving, Sheikh Sani said, and I quote, they lost all the senatorial seats. They lost about 70 to 80% of the House of Representatives seat. Is now my saying is an elder statesman from Kaduna State. So now, if you want to say he's leaving the party is a suicide, suicide for who? Would I have wanted him to mend fences with his boss, his friend, who he helped in 2022 general election, our sitting president today? Yes, because I would have loved the journey to be that nice. But since he has gone for his own reasons, we can't bring him back. Is he going to be of any, danger to us as a party? Believe you me, it's not, because, okay, how many people have moved with El-Rufai since he's going back to the SDP? This is also a question to you. How many notable Nigerians that you can say today have moved with him, are they also in preparation? Politics, there is no secret, Olajumoke. Assuming there were preparations going on, by now it will be on the atmosphere. But there is nothing going on as like this. And mind you, we are also making our own effort as much as they are. And believe you me, we will have the better hand than them. And that is why I'm saying we will come back in 2027. It might not be easy, but it's going to be certain, God willing.
And going by the words of Governor Abdullahi Sule, would you say that indeed Malam El-Rufai may have created too many political foes for himself within the APC, and that it became too hostile for him to stay there, and rightfully so had to leave? Do you think the APC did enough to have made him stay back?
He said it himself. He said when he met the president the last time, he told him, I am still trying to fashion ways to see how we can work together. And the interviewer asked him, are you open to that? He said, I am waiting. So if the APC has not finished, finding out the modalities on how to work with him, but he was quick to leave in before any other arrangement, then I think there is a little fault of the party, because yes, we can't isolate the matter completely and say it is his fault. But whose fault it is, I think he took the larger aspect of it, because he has not finished exhausting his reasons in the party, whether to stay or not. So he left too early, but his leaving has no consequences. Has the APC helped him in leaving? I don't think I can put that on 50%. That's why I said he takes the larger aspect of what has happened to him. Because yes, the party is still trying to recalibrate. We have a lot of things on the table trying to put together policies, and things are happening because when you put policies for, in a country like Nigeria, to monitor it and see it mature, there are a lot of things that will come around it. And it's not easy to manage because people are not good in living where they are. Particularly what has been happening around the fuel subsidy, the dollar, and the rest. So if the government will be managing these things, and somebody outside who should have looked at it credibly and say, okay, we should give time and support it with these ideas so that these things will mature, we will rather want to give up on the same thing he has built and leave. Then, he has done everything to himself, not what the APC has done to him. So his living is on him, not on the APC.
But do you see a situation But do you see a situation where these men, would be able to display a genuine commitment to putting the nation's needs above their personal political aspirations?
Yes, exactly, yes. Because now, if you ask yourself what is happening, I don't think I have seen a policy, and I'll be making reference to this Naira crude policy, because this is the first time I have seen it in this country that a government deliberately says, okay, we will no longer sell our crude in dollar because dollar has become, unaffordable for Nigerians, is a nightmare. So to make life easier First of all, there is a policy which is compulsory on the IOCs to give crude to local refineries, which is part of the PIB, policies. And the government says, okay, we are making a commitment of 450,000 barrels every day for our local refineries. And Dangote used to get about 385 of this, and he used to pay in naira, which has reduced drastically the pressure on the dollar. But again, that's why I'm saying we need to do a lot around the policies. And I'm sure the president is preparing to do that. Because one of the supporting policies I would love to see the president do, Olajumoke, is the dollar aspect. Because for the fuel, it's coming down. Once it's sustained, fuel will crash significantly and it will become largely affordable. But again, for the dollar, this dollar today is being, people who buy it don't even need it. People are buying dollar today, keeping it in their houses. So I really will want to see the president in part of his effort to address this crisis, to just like what our senator from Delta State, Munir Nwoko, said, that it should be banned in this country, that you don't use dollar, foreign currency in Nigeria, except, if you have a special need. And if the president can do that, that will give so much value to our naira, and it will reduce the pressure on the dollar. Because whatever you want to do, let our own naira be at the front, but not today what we are doing. Everybody wants to buy the dollar and keep and sell. And I'm sure the president is listening, and he will give attention to this, which will support a lot of policies, and it will reduce, and that will be the interest of the people, because significantly these things they are affecting everyone to the grassroots. Today, if the dollar rises, prices of food in the market automatically will just rise, and because people will tell you it's importation, and if it's importation, it's dollar-based. And I like it too that I have seen a deliberate policy from our government that says, okay, even for ships that are coming into Nigeria, there is no longer betting and then paying money for demorages and the rate with dollar. Everything you want to do the moment you are in the Nigerian waters is naira. These are very good policies. This is the first time we are experiencing it in the country. But we have to be deliberate, we have to be aggressive, and make sure we do these things to the interest of Nigerians. And anybody, Jumoke, that is found wanting. For example, in the past government, we had systems where, the CBN governor didn't do so much well for the country. Rather, he concentrated on individuals. And today, that is one of the reasons that, our naira has been bastardized. But again, we have this system with the current CBN governor trying to fight it. So dollar should be given to only those that need dollar, but not people who will just come with sinister, motives to come and take our dollar and then be using it to sabotage or impress Nigerians. So this is. So
if time permits us, I'll also take you up on the matter of nation building and why it is important at this time. But quickly before I do that, today, former Senator Shehu Sani also weighed in on this matter. He says a serious coalition will take into account the sensitivities of our history and geopolitics. These are the words of Senator Shehu Sani. However, in a democracy, a thriving opposition is fundamental to ensuring checks and balances, and we all know this. And the emergence of this coalition is seen by many as a vital attempt to inject new life into Nigeria's political discourse, preventing the current administration from, sailing to re-election without viable alternatives. But my question to you is, are Nigerians really open to the idea of a third force?
Yes, quote and unquote, because our politics, most of it is, we base it around, we have two mainstream parties, PDP and APC. PDP is from 1999, APC from 2015. PDP lost out, and today APC is about 10 to 11 years going. The idea of a third force, if you look at, if Peter Obi will sustain his tempo, is going to be healthy for democracy, and instead of giving up for coalition, because it takes time for one, to entrench his ideology into people. It's not easy to sell your idea to people and allow and make them take it, process it and begin to accept the things you and even want to put up with you. So if Nigerians will be patient, these are things that will be evolving over time. It's not going to be an automatic thing. It will take time. That is why it's not advisable for parties that have made significant impact to just give up and will want to go into coalition out of the desperation of attaining leadership. Now, the question of the third force you are talking about, I will tell you yes, but it requires a serious, duty from the political actors to be patient, because what we are experiencing in Nigeria is the impatience to withstand opposition. We don't have political people that are patient on the opposition side. The moment you're on the opposition side, you want to do anything to go back to the winning, and that is not healthy for democracy. Sometimes it's not even you are in line with the ideology of the party in leadership, but it's just because you don't have the patience to remain in opposition, and you just want to move and see what you can get for yourself. And this is what defines the politics of materialism, as again, politics of ideology, and ideology for the interest of the people. So Nigerians will have to prepare, and political actors will also have to be patient to sustain their ideology and propagate it over time, but not giving up after 4 or 8 years. So I look at the person that is close to getting this in the southeast is Peter Obi. He has demonstrated that. In the north, we have Konkoso in Kano State. He has also demonstrated that even though he didn't make as much impact as Peter Obi, his movement is just around the Kano general area. Yeah.
And I do not know if you are in the position to answer this objectively, being a member of the ruling party. But let's see. For the purpose of this conversation, beyond the power struggle, why do you think a strong opposition party is crucial for Nigeria's democracy?
Say again?
Why is a strong opposition party crucial for Nigeria's democracy?
It is Nigerian democracy, we have still not gotten it the way democracy is being practiced all over the world, especially from countries that have given birth to Nigeria, where we take democracy from. And opposition ordinarily should be in place for check and balances. But if opposition will not be objective, as in the case we are experiencing today, most of our opposition are not really objective with their criticism. It is just a matter of mere interest, because you get to see a government that is doing very well, and yes, you want to take over and be in power, but some of these things that the government are doing, you should have also done same or even better when you were in power, but you didn't even have the idea. But because now somebody is doing it, you want to sabotage the person. And like I told you earlier on, my example is with the Rivers State Declaration of State of Emergency. It was a perfect example of opposition not doing very well. Because opposition is crucial for democracy, but let it be objective. These guys, the state is going to be on fire. It will affect the country economy. It will affect the living standard of the entire country, not just Rivers State, because of the strategic positioning of Rivers State. But opposition choose to begin to condemn it in totality, that it is wrong, instead of looking at it holistically. So opposition in Nigeria will have to brace up and see things objectively as against just their mere interests, instead of the interests of the people. And that is what is good for democracy.
I mean, after all, APC was a strong opposition party. And talking about progressive opposition politics, and I hope we engender this in the country going forward. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Engineer Nuruddin Hamayuru, APC Chieftain, Political Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for your time in the program.
Thank you for having me, Olajumoke.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Latinji. Good night.
heat of the summer, walking on the road feels like walking on hot coals.
How do I cope with this heat?
And how do I cope with that bad odor?
By staying 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on hot days, the sweating and the odor are more. That's why you need to get the new improved Dettol Cool soap, which offers up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and protects you from 99.9% odor-causing germs.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopEx TV.
Do you have the fitness level you really want? Have you paid for gym membership and never gone again? Are you struggling with exercises that don't deliver results? Or do you find yourself spending hours in the gym with little to show for it? Traditional workouts can be boring and ineffective. You need a solution that combines efficiency, versatility, and delivers results. Introducing the SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch, the Super 6-in-1 exercise machine designed to elevate your fitness journey. Say goodbye to ineffective routines and hello to a workout that really works. With the SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch cutting-edge technology, you can change your body in just 15 minutes a day. Its enhanced features delivers a full-body workout that's efficient, effective, and enjoyable. With the Ultimate Total Crunch, you can achieve a full-body workout with its versatile 6-in-1 design right from your home. Sculpt your abs with the crunching feature and target your calves, thighs, glutes with the smooth stepping mode. Strengthen and tone your arms using the adjustable resistant bands of the arm exercise feature. Twist your way to a slimmer waistline with the innovative waist twister to engage your core muscles. Enhance your upper body strength with the built-in push-up bar, perfect for developing your chest, shoulders, and triceps. With the Ultimate Total Crunch, you can achieve your fitness goals effortlessly, all from the comfort of your home.
With SportsX Ultimate Crunch, my whole body works at the same time.
I love that I can do different exercises for different parts of my body to stretch my muscles.
Only Ultimate Crunch can put my whole body in motion. With the Ultimate Crunch, you can achieve your fitness goals effortlessly, all from the comfort of your own home.
The SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch is now available exclusively from ShopEx TV. For a limited time, we're offering an exclusive flash sale with up to 23% off. Call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code to get the SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch just for 345,950 Naira only. That's a saving of over 100,000 Naira. And that's not all. Order now and you receive a pack of 3 Genie bras valued at 30,000 Naira. Absolutely free. You can get the SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch in 2 easy payments of just 172,975 Naira. That's right. Pay twice to win this amazing fitness solution. We'll also deliver the SportsX Ultimate Total Crunch to your door for free. But hurry up. This exclusive ShopEx TV offer is available for a limited time only.
Proceeding is a paid presentation by ShopEx TV.
In 2013, big tech wasn't really here. So what have they seen in the past 10 years, which is making all of them want to put their HQ here? They've seen indigenous, tech startups achieving things that took them years to figure out. They've seen how we are using the limited resources we have to solve real problems. They've seen.
The first thing that you notice is that we are all young people. So when you look at the passion and the dedication, that is just enough motivation to see that the team is actually the right team to actually make Clinic Pesa be able to stand out.
The ultimate success for our company is we want to be a household name. Like, so we talk about this within the team. Like, we want to be like Amazon, we want to be like Google. Like, this is not, we are not looking to sort of be just another player.
We are a global economy. We are in a big, gigantic world, and we've all got to work together. We've all got to collaborate. And that collaboration has to include the continent of Africa, because there are so many unique opportunities there.
I'm Onyenchak Crispinus, the founder and CEO at Clinic Pesa, and I'm a software engineer by profession. The people who work for Clinic Pesa, typically, the first thing that you would notice is that we are all young people. So they wake up every morning, every day, to go effortless and tirelessly to just go and push and make sure that Clinic Pesa is out there to first gain new customers, second, also compete favorably, and third, to get the right value for its customers. So when you look at the passion and the dedication, that is just enough motivation to see that the team is actually the right team to actually make Clinic Pesa be able to stand out. The insurance coverage is very low, most especially in Africa, and even when you look at Uganda. So Clinic Pesa came from a perspective of provide a wallet where customers are able to save and use these savings to offset their medical bill. And then
medical help is for paying. So no one can give you a medical service for free. So for people here to access our services, for example, Jofla Medical Center, there is a cost attached to it. Clinic Pesa has helped people to save for that. No one else had done that. But now, people can easily save and have money on their accounts. When they come here, they just have to show us the money on their account and they pay the bills. You can even save like $10, $20, $15, and at the end of the month, you have $300, $400. They can easily cover up the bills in Jofla Medical Center on any service that we have. It has helped people not to fear to go to health facilities. It has saved mothers to deliver from homes. They come to the center because they have saved for 9 months and they can easily come and access the service. So really it has helped people to adopt coming to hospitals and staying home and dying there without the money.
Clinic Pesa has benefited from big tech companies like Google. When, for example, we look at our infrastructure, it is purely powered by Kubernetes. We have zero downtimes. We have greater uptimes when we want to do upgrades and things like that. These are all big tech technologies that we're actually using. So when you look at the computers today that we're actually using, the operating systems are all powered by Microsoft. And this is one way of how you see our companies actually benefited from the big tech companies. Our business model has actually changed because of the big tech products in Africa. Most especially when you look at the aspect of scale, before you would, scale is something that you would actually be scared of. So we are able to pivot your business model. That means charge a little bit low and push for the aspect of scale in numbers so that you're also able to serve more customers. And then you're able to sustain the business at the same time. Today, we are close to clocking 1 million customers also. And without the big tech, it will be a little bit challenging. So I don't think there is a downside of tech companies coming to Africa. The only thing that needs to be done is regulation. The big tech companies are too big. If they do certain businesses, there are certain business lines that typically are not meant for them because they are too big. It means they would do what they call monopoly. If you were to roll out mobile money on WhatsApp, for example, it will typically monopolize the entire market. So that's why I'm saying there is need for regulation to avoid the aspect of monopoly, but then there is no harm in letting the big techs venture in Africa because then we are coexisting.
Health tech startups that I'm looking at,
the fact that some of those startups are reducing maternal deaths, are accessing health at a cheaper, affordable, faster rate than other solutions. It doesn't matter then if that founder has failed before, but what they're currently doing or working with is something that can actually have a lot more impact. So I just look at some of those in our engagement. We look at some of those founders maybe that have failed before as having a second chance to build something that can be more sustainable, and we encourage them through the journey of that second trial or even third if they're serial founders.
There's some research out there that second-time founders or repeat founders can learn from their past mistakes. That's pretty obvious. I think that regardless of how many startups you've founded, there can be some lived experiences that can help make you scrappy, a great problem solver, able to stretch a dollar. And so it is a factor that we consider whether a founder has founded more companies. And other factors that might contribute there would be if they've worked at a startup before, or if they have a really well-rounded background or a deep specialty in a certain pressing topic like AI.
Anytime you take money from investors also have sort of what they are trying to achieve. So anytime you're taking money from them, you stand at risk. But then as a founder, you need to be in control. You need to know what you want to do. You need to tell the investors where you're going, where the company is going, and stand your ground. But then once you bring on investors, it's like a marriage, right? They have their opinions. You have to listen to them. You cannot brush them aside that easily. But that is it. I think the ultimate outcome of the company lies on the founders, not the investors, because the investors do not really have much say at the early stages. I remember in my previous company, for example, we had to take some investment from someone, and they wanted us to wear a ring for monitoring, and we said no, like we are not taking the ring, so the investment goes up. So I think you have to decide on what you want to take, and you have to know what you want to do. My name is Andrew Kwa. I'm the CEO and founder of Regulus Incorporated. What really inspires me about the people that I work with is the opportunity for all of us to build something great. So we are sort of like just at the beginning of building something great. And the team, the energy, the zeal, the enthusiasm with which they take on the vision is what really inspires me about that. So at Regulus Inc., we are building an operating system for emerging market pharmacies. So you take Regulus as sort of the OS, like you have a Windows, you have a computer, we are just Windows to that computer. So basically what we want to do is make sure that the pharmacy is able to run, and then we are able to connect every other space, every other thing to it. So telemedicine, be it supplies, be it insurance, anything, you can connect to it. Well, for us, if you ask us at Regulus, the ultimate success for our company is we want to be a household name. Like, so we talk about this within the team. Like, we want to be like Amazon, we want to be like Google. Our key vision to the future is really like anything that you want to buy, not only pharmaceuticals, anytime you want anything, just Regulus should be there for you. In terms of challenge, I think it's very interesting. A bit of disclosure here. I was in the hospital for a month, and I couldn't do anything. And at that point, for me, that was sort of like I didn't really have any answers for that. In terms of challenges, you realize maybe at early points where we're trying to raise funding and not getting funding, that becomes sort of like a sticking point. Okay, if you don't get this funding, this doesn't really even take off to even become profitable. So we were able to lead ourselves through that by decreasing burn rates. So very minimal team. As you can even see, we still have a very minimum team. We are trying to reduce the burn as much as possible so that when the funding climate changes, then we can be able to sort of like bring in more funds and bring in more people, more bodies into it. The influence that the big tech is having, they are mirrored, like you have positive, negative, and other, but I'll dwell on the positives. The fact that they are shining a lot of light on us, internet connectivity is increasing, you have ability, access to AWS, Amazon, Google Clouds, and all that. I think that is going to help a lot of innovation. It's going to drive a lot of innovation. Things that we couldn't do before, now we could do. Like now you could actually have somebody in Ghana selling to somebody in the States. So that's one of the pluses for big tech. In the next 10 years, I think big tech is going to be almost everywhere. They are owning stakes also in companies anyway. So I think anywhere that you turn, any company that you try to use, you cannot sort of escape their claws. Like their claws are going to be on you. But I think if you look at the positive side, there's more of an upside than a downside for us. Yeah, so I'll say Google and Amazon because we use AWS service. We also use Google Cloud. So those are the key benefits. As early stage startups, they give you a certain amount for free, which is very good and very beneficial. It helps you to not think about cloud cost and all that, and you can deploy over that. As you scale and you make more money, you'll be able to sort of pay them back or start paying. But for now, I think the benefit that we've gotten is being the community, the server space, and all that is free for startups. And once you apply for them, tech is needed. Like tech is live. Like right now, everything that we are doing is tech. Like you can't really do anything without tech. So I think what the reaction should rather be should be embracing it, seeing the best way in which we can harness it to improve us, to improve the things that we do as well. But not rather sort of, we don't want big tech, sort of, no technology in our space, because like you can't stop it. Like this is like an idea whose time has come. Like there's no stopping to that.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
People in the U.S. have to look at Africa as more than just a source for lower cost labor. There's a ton of tech talent in Africa, and I think sometimes it can be a bit exploitative where people say, oh, well, I can go hire African developers and they're going to be cheaper. We can't look at that talent on the continent in that way. We've really got to understand that Africa, with so many opportunities, natural resources, like there are so many different problem spaces, opportunity areas in Africa that developers are working on and have a unique perspective, and they can export that perspective to the US and the rest of the world in a way that others can't. And so that's the opportunity.
eCampus helps you learn smarter, become employable, and attain prosperity. I'm excited about a lot of things, right? But I think what crowns it all is the enormous amount of opportunities Africa presents. It's exciting, because everywhere you look, there is a problem to solve. And for me, those are great opportunities. I think what drives us at eCampus is the desire to create a path to prosperity. And how can we do that? Through education, skills development. All right. So from junior high school to senior high school, there shouldn't be any breaks. Then they are in the university around age 17, 18. By 21, they're out of university. Within the time they're in university, they are taking our employability assessment test to earn an employability score. That puts them in internship just after the first year. So by 10 years, they've done 4 internships. That's how many years of experience. So by the time they graduate, those companies in internship for are now giving them meaningful jobs. And he's only 23. So by 33, he's been working for 10 years. By 35, 2 years extra. You should be independent and now extend your hands to your other family members. Then you can now, from 35 to 75 or 80, which is your life expectancy, you can have a life and be happy and think of new things, have the freedom to be creative, innovative, and create real solutions. And now we're back to try and error, what works, what doesn't work, for what, another 500 years? Nah, that cannot happen. We have to support each other. We have to build the partnerships, the collaborations to make sure that we create this path to prosperity. Nobody is forcing anybody to follow that path, but it has to be there. For those who choose to take that path, they should be guaranteed prosperity by the age of 35. I think that will change the dynamics of Africa. If this fails, that would be a disaster for me. I'll feel betrayed. I'll feel like maybe I betrayed all my brothers and sisters. No, it shouldn't feel. I don't think it's going to feel. I don't see that. But should that, we'll do everything to make sure it doesn't fail. But then if it does happen, we tried. Big tech influence in Ghana and how the future looks 10 years from now. So I have this conviction that to have a fair idea of the future, you have to look into the past, right? So I'll take you 10 years into the past, somewhere 2013, right? Big tech wasn't really here. So what have they seen in the past 10 years? Which is making all of them want to put their HQ here, right? Google brought their AI HQ here. Twitter brought their HQ here. Why didn't they come in 2013? Why? Or 2003? Why? Because they've seen something. They've seen indigenous, tech startups achieving things that took them years to figure out. They've seen how we are using the limited resources we have to solve real problems. They've seen, if for nothing, they've seen how we leapfrog bank accounts and became mobile money driven. So we started building our artificial intelligence in 2017 at eCampus. We call it Nile because we saw what it could do for us. And that was mainly because of the vision and the purpose of our business, right? Like I said, we want to create a path, a clear path to prosperity. So it requires a lot of predictions. You have to predict whether they'll pass the exams at this time or not. So you can be in second year, all right, of junior high school. When eCampus, Nile, or AI predicts that no, you are 85% ready for the exams, you go register as a private candidate, right? So you just jumped the final year. You've saved one more year in that path to prosperity. So we require a lot of prediction, right? If you want to get employed into a marketing sector, right? We want to be able to predict how efficient you will be in terms of your general knowledge, technical knowledge, commercial knowledge of that industry, right? So very quickly we realized that to achieve that level of prediction, you need artificial intelligence, right? So we started building our own from source. And at the time, it wasn't so popular. So we were forced to build our own. We are happy we build our everything from scratch. They had sessions with statisticians, had sessions with teachers, with employers. A lot of people were involved in the building of this data set and core of Nile. So yes, we are fully aware that is the next step. And how it's going to help us generate revenue is the preciseness or the precision of our predictions, which is the real value to our customer, will be so evident that everybody want to try that path.
We are an extended reality technology company specializing in building the African extended reality ecosystem. And we do this in the form of enterprise solutions that are scalable, but our business model is quite unique because 60% is the commercial projects we do and 40% is what we call ecosystem building, where we want to build value in extended reality technologies. So we do this in the form of hackathons, discussions, boot camps, just to make sure that this information and this access to hardware and software is democratized in Africa. This is a main office. This is actually where we have a lot of meetings, brainstorms and stuff. Come on in. This is some of the team members. So here we have market intelligence, business development, project management. So a lot of the more or less the hardcore team sits on this side, and then we distinguish between the hardcore team that runs the business, and then we have the guys who are actually doing a lot of the development work and the editing. So please follow me. What really inspires me about the people that I work with is really the fact that we all graduated from the same university, which is the University of YouTube Premium. We taught ourselves each and everything that we know because there was no schools for extended reality in Kenya, dating back even 2015 to date. And I like the fact that I work with a young team that is motivated and self-driven and self-taught. So this really excites me about the team that I work with. This is where we do a lot of the dev work from 360 filmmaking. So that particular side is 360 videos. Those are editors and directors and sound specialists. And then this side we have the AR team that creates a lot of the augmented reality and VR experiences that we create. So this is really where the hardcore of where the cogs are really run from the business. This is really where the magic happens. The rest of the other guys are kind of boring. I think what Black Rhino brings to Kenya and Africa is the fact that we are early adopters of the technology itself. We understand how to deploy it from a highly pragmatic, Afrocentric perspective. We look at it as a gift, and the idea that Black Rhino has built and continues to build infrastructure around the technology is really one of the voices that we have in the region, whereby we are giving birth to a generation, because you might not know this, but by 2025, half of the world's youth population between the age of 18 to 25 years old is going to be in Africa. So we see ourselves as agents of change, accelerating the adoption of extended reality technology in Africa. This is where I sit actually, but I'm allergic to sitting in this office because I feel like I want to be together with the rest of the team, so I rarely sit in this office. This is just a gift from my niece who designed the office for us. In some of the places that I've traveled to in the world that she thought that was a good gesture because we gave her the business. Let me show you guys something cool. This is actually, we have two companies, Black Rhino and White Rhino. So this is White Rhino. It creates, it's a video company that does commercials, human interest stories, documentaries, etc. And then Black Rhino is the immersive company. So the reason why we have two rhinos and a boomerang is quite symbolic, because no matter how far you throw us, we'll always come back to one. When one being, we are both rhinos. And whatever challenges we have, we'll always come back together and face them. Success looks like fast educational reforms, my friend. A lot of people learn through schools, and I feel like the schools are underprepared. Success is having immersive curriculums, teaching young people how to create AR and VR at a very young stage. And not just AR and VR, now you have what you call no-code technology that can allow, it really shortens the learning curve. And I feel like this is where success is, when you have educational reforms and you have individuals coming out from these institutions prepared for the market. So when I talk about how success looks to us, is first, success is by changing mindsets. We actually have to change people's mindsets to understand that there is value for this technology itself. Demonstrating the socioeconomic value of this technology is so important. So for us, number one, it means changing mindsets. Number two, reforming the educational system. The skills being acquired are not the skills required in the market. And we have to make sure that certain reforms are put in place so that individuals from the grassroots level can understand the value of this technology from a fundamental perspective to hardware and software. So I'll be very happy if these things happen. And of course, ultimate success is if we launch and we are a global company. So that's what the success looks like for us.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m, where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
We should understand what we see and know what we like, but art can be challenging. It has meant different things at different moments in history. Art gives us access to the way other people have seen the world. It's another time out on the Art Express. Welcome. Today on the show, Co is pleased to present Dry Season, a solo exhibition featuring recent charcoal and fiber artworks of Eva Obodu. Now, this exhibition explores the artist's fascination with the intricate terrains of human experience, presenting a powerful narrative of contemporary social and political landscape. Let's take a look.
My name is Obodu. The title of my show is Dry Season. Dry season, we know, is a period when the rains have gone on a holiday. It's a period of dryness. It's a period when you have scarcity of water. It's a period of time when grass and animals that depend on it for survival find survival very challenging. So during this period, things wither, and because of scarcity of water, and you know very well that it is said that water is life. So because there is scarcity of life, you see, life becomes very challenging. So that's the theme. So I now use dry season as a metaphor for this. So when you look at Nigeria now, and Africa, and the world in general, you discover that we're experiencing a kind of dry season. Dryness in that is economically, socially, and otherwise. We are having challenges in security, we are having challenges in almost everything. So I feel this is the time for it. This is the dry season, and dry season can, be a kind of metaphor for that.
The exhibition's title refers to the harsh ecological period when resources are scarce and survival of natural vegetation becomes a delicate negotiation, a metaphor that resonates through the individual artwork titles. This theme reflects the tensions and limitations present in the social, political, and personal ecosystems of Nigeria, Africa, and the world. Several series within the exhibition offer critics of political institutional dysfunction, while others explore interpersonal dynamics and social proximities. Obodu's work also engages with themes carrying deep religious implications across various faiths and addresses contemporary economic challenges.
Obodu is obviously a professor of Fine and Applied Arts at the Department of Fine and Applied Arts, University of Nigeria. He majored in sculpture, and he schooled in the department, so he was taught by people like Atiku and all the classic names. Most of the classic names we know as the Nsoka artists. So, and he has continued to do studio practice since then, and also develop his academic portfolio that led him to become a professor, basically. And he explores fabric and charcoal, basically. Currently, he started with jute bags, making soft sculptures, basically. But now he has moved to adding Ankara fabrics to them, and concealing most of the jute bags within the works now, and then exploring charcoal. So he also explored wood in the dry state before, but now you can see he has moved fully to exploration of charcoal. Exhibition, the title, of course we know what dry season is because all of us are basically, the show is taking place in Nigeria, so most of the audience are Nigerians, and they are aware that we have the wet season, and then we have the rainy season, and then we have the dry season. So dry season is that point when the environment due to the weather becomes harsh in terms of plant life and sustainability within the period. So in allusion to that, dry season here refers to the exploration of harsh conditions, both political within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, that has affected most of the titles of the work you have, and the absence of water within the charcoal, metaphorically, in the sense that's that harsh condition. Yes, so that's the allusion we are trying to create here with the title Dry Season.
We're having the opening of an exhibition by Obodu. The title is called Dry Season. And so this is our 4th solo exhibition we've done with Obodu, 2 with Co and 2 from our prior company, Art House Contemporary. So we've really seen the evolution of his work over the last 10 years. And so these are all works that are created over the last 3 years. And he's working with charcoal and with threads. And he creates different sculptural installations, more like tapestries, that speak about different social political issues in Nigeria and around the world. Professor Obodu's works stand out in the materials that he uses and the processes that he uses. He's a professor at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, which is known for its experimental use of materials and different ways of working in art production. And so we see here that he's meticulously working with different pieces of thread, tying them together and to create these different abstract or semi-representational objects. We see the charcoal that he's going through a laborious process with the wood to create the charcoal, and then he binds them together with copper wire. So it's really almost a textile tradition in the way he's tying together, weaving through copper wire and thread.
He has been an icon, he has been a role model, he was a teacher, and more than a teacher, he was a friend. He is a friend. So his explorative works are actually very intricately woven. He just speaks with so much depth. So it also defines him as a personality. He's very deep, very intentional, very mindful about the way he portrays his art and the kind of messages he sends forth through his artworks. I would say it's unique in the sense that it's like bringing two contrasting materials, because normally in a logical sense you try to separate the fabric from the charcoal because it might eventually stain it. But he has managed to bring two things that seem like a fashion to stay away from each other, and they just complement each other beautifully. And I think the message that sends is a very unique and deep one.
Also on the show, the Yusuf Grillo Gallery of the Yaba College of Technology presents an exhibition of artworks by Dr. Aderisoye Aladegbongbe in celebration of his 60th birthday.
He has given me this great honor to come here to be the chairman of this wonderful exhibition. You can see this is some amazing artwork. I am totally impressed and I totally celebrate him. He's also in conjunction with his 60th birthday, so we want to wish him a very, very, very happy 60th birthday as well. The depth of the excellence I'm seeing here is totally incredible. I can tell you, if you look at this, all that is here today, I have not seen such like this in a very, very, very long time. I am totally impressed. I had to take photos of this so that I can share with my wife so she can actually pick one of this stuff that we can actually take. And it's absolutely, I'm totally impressed. And I want to say a big thank you to the gift of God in his life.
Popularly known to me as Pastor Daring, he has been one of the mentor for me and my colleague. I got to know him through a friend of mine, which is Adeni, and together it has been a very, very fruitful journey in terms of the way that he has been able to mentor and appreciate the young ones. This has given me the impetus to be here today, to be able to share in his good talent and his good things that he has done, especially speaking in terms of the artwork that he has done in time, which is for me is the currency of the day. Time is the currency that we spend, time is the energy that we spend, time is the purpose that we spend. And for him speaking about time today is something very good for me.
This is a beautiful exhibition to celebrate the 60th birthday of Ms. Dr. Aladegbongbe. It's quite an exciting exhibition because he's a workaholic. You see from his works about lifestyle, a lot about how we should live and about the things we have done wrong and the things we are doing right. He has spoken so well, and you see so much in his work because you find out that he is such a phenomenal person. He has done so well with his work. He's an optimist, and maybe because of his calling, he's probably because he's a Christian, he's a pastor, it has influenced his thought process. But you look at his work, you are quite impressed with all you see as someone who has worked as an impressionist. I see him as an impressionist specialist. he's done so well.
Dr. Adigun Gbad, I know for sure, to the best of my knowledge, is an artist, and he's an intellectual of high standing. And from here, from what we have seen here today, he does not take it lightly with his practice. He is an art practitioner, and I think from the arrow of what he has shown here today, it shows that he is studio conscious. You know, and how do I mean? He's studio conscious. What it means is that he takes his studio works, particularly his practice, seriously. You know, unlike some people who feel that they have gotten a job and they don't need this. But this is actually helps. What he has actually done here now, exhibiting some of his works, helps his work as an art lecturer, because the word says practice what you teach. And so this is an example of somebody who practices what he preaches.
Looking at all the works on display here, it could be seen that the man here is a very deep man, and is actually quite versatile. You know, here you will see that his art ranges from drawings to paintings to printmaking to sculptures. And there is something there that is actually quite striking and quite remarkable. Someone said that you can't be great on what you do occasionally. You can only be great on what you do every day or consistently. It is clear that this man has achieved greatness in the visual art space. How? Because he is very consistent with what he has been doing. And in this exhibition you will see, as far back as when he was in his ND days, that his sketch pads, his drawings are here, the works that he did there, and he has the work that spans through about 40 years. So that is something that is not common. So I want to say kudos to him. He has done quite well, and he has been able to stamp his feet on the sands of life.
I am a multifaceted artist. There is no material that I cannot work with. And I think the exhibition in time just simply interprets that all that is on display are things that I have done right from when I started art till date. And importantly, because time in itself, like they say, is money, and time flows, and the same time is meant for everybody, but it now depends on how you want to spend your time. But God has helped me. The title is In Time. In Time as a word simply takes together the existence of man, when you are born and when you will die. But this is just from when I started art until now. Also, all the works are displayed. As you look through it, there is a sweetening that you have, and it gives you peace in your inner mind. And so I want to invite everyone for this exhibition.
I will tell you that he's a dedicated and committed painter. And as you can see, when you walk around the exhibition, you can see that he has works that are there from 1987, 1988. And he has been producing steadily since then. So this is a wonderful exhibition because it's also an archive of works that he has done over the last 3 decades. And so I congratulate him and celebrating his 60th birthday with him, believing that he still has a lot of work that he will still produce. So this is quite an interesting painting because you can see that it's superimposed, you know. So a lot of talent has gone into that.
The female Artists Organization of Nigeria, in collaboration with Nikkei Art Gallery Abuja, presents an art exhibition in celebration of the 2025 International Women's Day, themed for all women and girls' rights, equality, and empowerment.
This is a mixed media, oil and acrylic. So it took me about 2 years to do the background. And after the background, I have to let it to set before I go in with the acrylic, which are these points. This is pointillism, but it's not an ordinary pointillism. These are points. These are done with dots, but it is not a flat dot. If you feel it, it looks like bead, but it's actually an acrylic. That's when I point, I let it dry, then I go over and I sit and point at the same spot to give it the texture. It looks like bead, but it's not bead. It's just acrylic bead up. Yes.
She's trying to couch her niche through life. So she's trying to identify herself before the society comes with its backlash and overwhelming demands. So the title of this work is called Identity.
We're built differently, and the painting says it all. There's fire, burning fire, and there's water or ice or liquid, you can call it. So the difference, and yet coming together and form synergy.
Lukulububa, that's what I called it. It means butterfly, but Lukulububa means butterfly in Igbo. What I inspired it is the strength a woman carries. I had that in mind. I had in mind also to pay homage to African tradition through this woman that has plaits on her head. The plaits, shows the intricacies of the hairstyle, and then, this portrays grace as well, the strength African woman carries, the mystic. Then the butterflies symbolizes spiritualism, fruitfulness.
Hisham is a complex personality of someone I know. So in the first painting, the one at the down part, it's a poppy flower. It has several colors. It has blue, which is for creativity, dreams, and mystery. The red and the black is for death. When the soldiers pass away, they have fields of poppy flowers to show them, to give them that respect for them honoring their country. So in this particular painting, there was a twist in all that I put all those colors in one because it's showing the complexity of his character and mine.
The idea in this work is to show the abduction itself, the forlorn faces of those who were eventually released, and then the potential that these girls would have had or would have attained at this moment. And then the whole idea behind the dry tree and the birds is to express the stunted growth and the freedom that they have lost while in captivity.
The name of the artwork is Enough to Go Around.
I've been a kind of person that has been bothered about how greedy we are as a people. Like, we compete rather than collaborate. We're always about ourselves.
Winning this award is very well deserved. We are grateful for the recognition, and we will continue to do more to amplify these voices, these well-deserved voices in the art community and engineering.
The title of this work is called The Golden Birth. Like, this is an abstract piece. I didn't make it into a realism, but the golden birth is not actually because of the golden glitter. It's because of these colors that we have here. And do you know what these colors represent? These are the exact color wheel of an immunization chart. Because if you don't have the creativity, even if you have all these avenues that I mentioned, you will not be able to perform and produce anything that will be enticing.
Indeed, art is a way of life that must be mastered. To be an artist is to discover yourself and channel your inner ability to express your thoughts. Let's do this again same time next week. Bye-bye.
Oyislashla Mandela was born into the Madiba clan on 18th July 1918. He got involved in politics in 1942 as he helped to form ANC Youth League. He was married to Evelyn Mays and they had 4 children. Mandela was arrested in a countrywide police swoop on 5th December 1956, which led to the 1956 treason trial. Before the end of the treason trial, he wrote to Prime Minister for vote to include a national convention on a non-racial constitution, and failure to adhere would result to a national strike. In August, he was arrested and charged for leaving the country without a permit and inciting workers to strike. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. On 9th of October 1963, he was on trial with 10 others for sabotage in what became known as the Revodo trial. On the 11th of June 1964, Mandela and 7 other accused were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. He was later released from its gates on Sunday, 11th of February 1990, 9 days after the unbanning of the ANC and the PAC. Nelson Mandela never wavered in his devotion to democracy, equality, and learning as he immersed himself in official talks to end white minority rule. In 1991, he was elected ANC president to replace his ailing friend, Oliver Tambo. In 1993, he and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Peace Prize, and on 27th April 1994, he voted for the first time in his life.
And he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. In Proverbs 28 verse 13, the Bible says, he that covereth his sin shall not prosper, but whosoever confess them and forsake them shall have mercy. Unbelief is sin, unforgiveness is sin, selfishness is sin, insincerity, disobedience, blasphemy, anger, envy, speaking evil of other people, backbiting, murmuring, cursing people, swelling with heaven and earth. All these are terrible sins. You must confess them, renounce them, and promise God no more.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Proceeding is a paid presentation by ShopEx TV.
It's 10 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, 9 p.m. in London, 4 p.m. in New York, and 5 a.m. in Virgin. This is TVC News at 10, our top stories tonight. President Tinubu signed Southwest South-South Development Commission bills and the Nigeria Anti-Doping Bill into law. Bill to remove immunity conferred on Vice President, governors and their deputies scaled second reading at the House of Representatives. Outside Nigeria, U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says adding journalists to high-level chat on airstrike plans was a mistake. And in sports tonight, holders Argentina qualify for 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament. President Bola Tinubu has assented to the Southwest Development Commission Bill, the South-South Development Commission Bill, and the Nigeria Anti-Doping Bill 2025. Special advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Bashir Lado, made this known in a statement noting that the legislations reflect President Tinubu's commitment to inclusive governance, equitable progress, and Nigeria's emergence as a global powerhouse. He says by signing the bills, President Tinubu has reaffirmed his role as a transformational leader who prioritizes regional empowerment, economic expansion, and infrastructural excellence. Mr. Lado said,
geopolitical zones of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am not from Southwest, neither am I from South-South, but what is worth doing is worth doing. So we really commend Mr. President for balancing this in the spirit of equity, that all of us will now have development commissions that will be held responsible for the development of our area. Once again, thank you, Mr. President, on behalf of the Parliament. It's a very important bill that you just assented to.
We'll bring in a member of the House of Representatives on this story subsequently during this bulletin. But let's turn our attention away from that now as we track developments in the Great Chamber, where the House of Representatives has now moved to strip the Vice President, governors and their deputies of immunity as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended. The bill is one of the 42 Constitution amendment bills that passed second reading on the floor of the chamber. Joke Adisa has more.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Right.
The sixth alteration to the 1999 Constitution as amended is gathering momentum. After Tuesday's passage of 39 Constitution amendment bills for second reading, 42 more bills have followed the same process. The bills covered devolution of powers, strengthening of institutions, state creation, traditional institutions, citizenship and local government. 4 of the bills seek to create new states across the country. River State member Solomon Bob's motion moves to qualify the immunity conferred on the president and remove the immunity on vice presidents, governors and their deputies.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to qualify immunity conferred on the president, remove the immunity conferred on the vice president, the governors and their deputies, in order to curb corruption, eradicate impunity, and enhance accountability in public office and for related matters. Second reading. Among sponsors of the bills are the Speaker, Abbas Tajuddin, East Deputy Benjamin Kalu, Lagos State Member Babajimi Benson, and Imo State Legislator Ikenga Ugochinyeri.
We are also proposing direct allocation, just like the Supreme Court said. So we are trying to give it a bite, to make it a law.
In another development, the House Committee on Works will conduct a forensic probe into the allocation, expenditure, and outcomes of the Sukuk funds amounting to over 1.24 trillion naira in the past 7 years. The resolution is sequel to a motion of urgent national importance by Nasarawa lawmaker Jonathan Gwefi, who laments that despite the huge fund, Nigeria's roads remain dilapidated.
The House is worried that without robust accountability mechanisms, the Sukuk program risks becoming a conduit for mismanagement or corruption.
As part of the day's legislative business, the House recommitted the Police Training Institutions Bill 2025 to its Committee of the Whole, following the need to address some fundamental issues as raised by the Directorate of Legal Services of the National Assembly. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
And it was an intense session at the Senate as a motion to immortalize the former National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, was stepped down following a heated exchange among lawmakers. The motion, raised by Senator Natasha Akpoti and co-sponsored by 13 other senators from the Southeast, was shot down on the floor of the Senate. TVC News National Assembly correspondent Tijesu Adoye has more.
The Nigerian Senate was anything but calm as a motion seeking to honor Professor Humphrey Nwosu, the man who supervised the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election, met stiff procedural opposition. Senator Natasha Akpoti, representing Abia South, raised the motion under the Senate's Standing Orders 41 and 51, citing its national importance. However, before he could begin his lead debate, the leader of the Senate, Okpeyemi Bamidele, quickly interjected.
During the 1993 presidential election, led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed Alhaji MKO Abiola as the winner.
It's okay. Well, the leader said he has a point of order. I don't know on this.
He invoked Order 40, arguing that all senators must receive copies of the motion before deliberations. Senator Solomon Olamilekan backed this claim, insisting he had not been given a copy. This sparked a heated exchange with co-sponsors of the motion, arguing that copies had been distributed and that the sergeant-at-arms was responsible for ensuring all senators received them. As the chamber grew tense, voices rose in disagreement. When the motion was put to a voice vote, the nays had it, effectively setting the motion aside.
This motion should go through. Please say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
Not backing down, Senator Akpoti attempted to invoke Order 42, seeking personal explanation, but was swiftly countered by Senator Bamidele, who cited Order 38, arguing that the Senate had moved past such matters. Senator Yahaya Abdullahi disagreed, reminding the chamber that the senators had previously been allowed to raise points of orders at any time. However, the deputy president of the Senate, who was presiding, upheld Senator Bamidele's objection, ruling Senator Akpoti out of order.
Therefore, you to say that, it has to come at a certain point under Order 38 is absolutely wrong.
A visibly frustrated Senator Akpoti invoked Order 1B, warning against what he described as a dictatorship in the chamber. But the presiding officer advised him to reintroduce the motion on the next legislative day.
You must give that senator a chance to make that personal explanation. We are not under a dictatorship, Mr. President.
With disappointment clearly written on his face, Akpoti took a bow and exited the chamber as arguments among senators continued. For now, the motion to immortalize Professor Humphrey Nwosu remains in limbo, but with Senator Akpoti's persistence, it may yet return for consideration. The question now is whether the Senate will eventually agree to honor the man that conducted one of Nigeria's most historic elections. Tijesu Adoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, the Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed that the contact address of representatives of the petitioners, their telephone numbers and email addresses in a petition filed against Senator Natasha Akpoti have now been provided in a letter addressed to the chairman of the commission today. The commission said in line with the regulations and guidelines for Recall 2024, a letter has been written to notify the senator sought to be recalled about the receipt of the petition and delivered to our official address. They said the same letter has been copied to the presiding officer of the Senate and published on the Commission's website. According to them, the next step now is to scrutinize the list of signatories submitted by the petitioners to ascertain that the petition is signed by more than one half, that's over 50% of registered voters in the constituency. Let's return to our coverage of the President signing into law the South-South and Southeast Development Commission bill. Let's bring in a member of the House of Representatives representing Ekiti South 2, Honorable Femi Bamishile. Honorable Bamishile, thanks for joining us on the news tonight. You and your colleagues who voted to create these commissions claim that it's a game changer that will transform the geopolitical zones concerned. But what specific expectations do you have of the Southwest Development Commission that will serve your constituency?
Again, thank you for the opportunity given this evening. One, let me first start by appreciating the President for assenting to the bill. It's been long overdue, without a shadow of doubt. And what this will do, particularly to the 6 states of the Southwest, Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, and Ekiti State, majorly, will be transforming majorly all the infrastructural decays that you have within.
We'll probably reconnect with the Honorable. Honorable Bamishile, we lost you for a minute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so it's so important. It allows the Southwest particularly to receive the funds that are allocated from federal allocation and will be used for rehabilitation and reconstruction of infrastructural decays that you have in the zone. And that's one major thing that we're enjoying, and we're going to be enjoying from this signature of the President on this particular bill.
It sounds good, but critics have cited corruption allegations that rock commissions of this nature in the past, and they are concerned about what happens going forward. Who has the responsibility to keep track of what's happening? And are you concerned also in this regard?
Without a doubt, within the National Assembly, we thank God that the National Assembly has agreed that the leadership of the National Assembly at the House of Reps has agreed to have a chairman within the committee in the National Assembly, in person of Honorable Hakeem Adeyemi. And I can assure you, with all that has been in play in time past, it would not replicate itself. Don't forget now, all the zones are being catered for. In time past, you had about only 2 zones having this commission. But now that the Southwest as is, you can rely on the fact that for us in the Southwest, it's going to be well managed with the leaders. I'm almost certain that whoever becomes the chairman of the commission again would have the best for the Southwest.
Well, Nigerians are counting on it, but we still haven't forgotten what happened with the NDDC and the drama that followed. But I'm sure you're also following the argument that promoting regional development really has to do with devolving powers to the regions through democratic, transparent, and accountable regional government. They say the idea that a federal agency can replace a regional government really doesn't mirror true regionalism, which is about regional autonomy. How do you react?
I can hear you, sorry.
I'm saying that the use of federal agency to replace a regional government does not necessarily mirror true regionalism. How do you react to this argument?
Without a doubt, I want to assure you with this. With the federational system that has to play, that we have in the country as we speak, and the regional sets that people are lamenting or complaining about, I can assure you without a shadow of doubt, with what is happening or the bill, the way it's being structured and how it's going to be implemented in various zones, every zone would naturally be accountable for itself. And that's the truth of it.
Well, we'll look forward to that, and we'll see how all of this play out in the coming days and coming years. Femi Bamishile is member representing the Ekiti South Constituency 2. Thank you for your thoughts, Honorable.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
And coming up on TVC News at 10, the sole administrator of Rivers State has sworn in the new secretary to the state government, Ibibia Wurika, and has now suspended all political appointments in that part of the country. We're tracking that story and more for you right after this break. Stay with us.
I want to thank Mr. President for taking the effort to achieve food security through livestock reforms. I want to assure you the 100% buy-in of sub-nationals to make this a success.
I urge each one of us to take active role in driving livestock development in Nigeria. Let us invest in this sector, let us support our local farmers, and let us be part of the solution.
We are irreversibly committed to collectively unlocking Nigeria's 33 trillion naira livestock economy for the prosperity of Nigeria and Nigerians.
On our part, a transition institution, we shall uphold the tenets that will bring about cohesion, peace, and stability in our domains, especially between the herders and farmers.
Are you a business owner, club, association, or non-governmental organization facing disputes or grievances? The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has a solution for you. Introducing the Administrative Proceedings Committee, APC, the platform for resolving non-criminal disputes and grievances related to your registered entity. The APC is here to help you resolve complaints and grievances swiftly and amicably, saving you from the long process of litigation. Whether it's a non-criminal issue arising from your operations, the APC is equipped to entertain your complaints and even recommend actions for crime-related matters. After the committee's decision, if you're not satisfied, you have the right to appeal to the Federal High Court. Don't let disputes hinder your growth. Contact the APC today at apc@cac.gov.ng or write to the Registrar General for a swift resolution. Visit www.cac.gov.ng. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma 72-hour active protection against sweat and odor with 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward, Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
You're watching TVC News at 10, a reminder of our top stories tonight. President Bola Tinubu signed Southwest South-South Development Commission bills and Nigeria anti-doping bill into law. Bill to remove immunity conferred on Vice President, governors and the deputies scales second reading at the House of Representatives. Outside Nigeria, U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says adding journalists to high-level chat on airstrike plans was a mistake. In sports, holders Argentina qualify for 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament. The federal government says the war on malaria has entered a new phase as the presidential initiative on unlocking the healthcare value chain is expanding its partnerships with key stakeholders like the Nigeria Malaria Elimination Program, WHO, Clinton Health Access Initiative, the Malaria Consortium, and the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, with a resolute focus on the total elimination of malaria in Nigeria. National Coordinator of PVAC, Dr. Abdul Mukhtar, highlighted this commitment during a strategic meeting with the leadership of the National Malaria Elimination Program and other development partners. The meeting centered on discussing strategies for implementing the affordable diagnostics and medicines for malaria. Addressing journalists after the meeting, Dr. Aminu Umar of the Nigeria Malaria Elimination Program, who spoke on behalf of co-partners, said a recent survey indicates malaria is responsible for 20% of mortality in the country.
Look at multiple value pools, therapeutics, vaccines, RDTs, bed nets, and all sort of commodities. You know, whether it's the APIs for malaria and other diseases, whether it's RDTs, you know, malaria, again, given the disease burden is always on top. So for us, it's a really top priority. But more importantly, as you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, we signed a program with NMEP to help in boosting the local production of malaria commodities. And so we intend to widen and deepen the scope of this partnership that we have with all of you.
All know that malaria is one of the major concern of the country. Almost 60% of our healthcare visits are as a result of malaria. So if we can be able to produce some, make the diagnosis and treatment for malaria to be relatively affordable to almost everyone.
The Rivers State government has announced the suspension of all political office holders and appointees in the state, and this is pursuant to the powers conferred on the administrator, Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Abbas Ibas by President Bola Tinubu. Those suspended include the Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff, Commissioners, Chairmen and members of all boards, councils of agencies, commissions, institutions and parastatals, special advisors, special assistants, as well as senior special assistants. This suspension takes effect from today, 26th of March. The affected officers are to hand over to the permanent secretaries in the MDAs. Where there may be no permanent secretary, they are to hand over to the most senior director or head of administration. And the sole administrator of River State, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, has sworn in the new secretary to the state government, Ibibia Wurika. At the ceremony in Government House, Port Harcourt, Vice Admiral Ibas tasked Mr. Wurika with bringing his wealth of experience to bear in governance of the state. The administrator